Now, of course, you're probably saying to yourself, why in the world are we covering a game from 2017?
Shepard, just look at the state of gaming. Like, what is going on?
Well, I will let you know when it comes to Hollow Knight Silksong being one of the more coveted releases, you also have to remember that the Hollow Knight franchise as a whole has earned over a whopping 15 million copies as of August 2025. And of course, those analytics came from Bloomberg and interviews with the developers of Team Cherry, which, speaking of them, let's talk about the overall creation of this very successful franchise. As when it comes to the developers, Team Cherry, which is in Australia, and Ari Gibson, William Pellin, and Jack Vine were the leaders of the developer team of Team Cherry. And then as far as Hollow Knight, the concept began at 2013 Ludum Dare Game Jam, if I said that correctly, but the Kickstarter raised $57,000. So that being said, it originally came out on PC February 2017, and then following up the PC version, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One versions came out in 2018. And then of course, it is playable on PS5 as far as backward compatibility. Now, as far as a 2017 game being talked about in 2025, that's because of Hollow Knight Silksong. That is set to be one of the most anticipated sequels in quite some time because, of course, as far as 2017 all the way to 2025, safe to say that the avid fans of Hollow Knight have been waiting for quite some time. So as far as this being one of the most anticipated sequels, you do have to keep in mind that Silksong also faced a lot of delays, repeated delays since its announcement. Basically, GTA levels of delays. Just think of that in their fan base. Because, of course, as soon as the official release date was set, it was starting to rise up the charts like hotcakes as far as pre-orders, to the point where I believe Silksong doesn't come out to September 4th, 2025, and it's already the 5th most engaged with game on Game Pass as far as trending. Now, as far as trending, I don't know if it's like a 1 to 10 as far as the, actually, how many is up here? 4, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I don't know if it's 1 to 10. It seems like it is because Gears of War Reloaded is the first one you see on trending. And I believe going all the way down to number 10 is Hell Let's Loose. So I think it's in order. But if it's not, then it's just one of the most anticipated games on Game Pass. But ultimately, I think it's listed out as far as numbers. So I'm going to say it's the 5th most engaged with game on Game Pass. Because, of course, that just means people have the subscription. We really don't know how many dollars are being put on the game currently. As when I looked at PlayStation, when I looked at Xbox as far as top pay games in the top 10, I didn't see it on either or, PlayStation or Xbox. But I still would assume that a lot of people are definitely clamoring for it. As when I first reviewed Hollow Knight Silksong as far as August 27th of this year, as far as my reaction to the release trailer, safe to say that trailer is doing phenomenal on YouTube. I think it's one of the most engaged with videos on YouTube. Actually, let's look at it right now. So as far as Hollow Knight Silksong, it's been, let's look at the trailer. As far as the Hollow Knight Silksong trailer, it did about 3.5 million views. As far as, oh no, that's 3 years ago. I'm tripping. Okay, so that makes it even more crazy. Because 3 years ago, Xbox released the Hollow Knight Silksong trailer, right? That did 3.5 million views. Team Cherry, 10 days ago, just released the updated release trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong. And guess what that's at? A whopping 4.7 million. So when we talk about the Hollow Knight franchise, safe to say that their fan base and what they've been doing along, as far as like keeping them engaged, because if you don't know, as far as 2017 to 2025, to still have people excited for the sequel is a huge accomplishment, and it's not accomplished by a lot of games. Let's just put it like that. If you take a huge hiatus, I would expect at least 50% of your audience to lose interest. But as far as Hollow Knight, seems like they haven't. So Silksong is looking to be a success, but overall, let me just give people who are not even aware of this franchise what it's about. So as far as Hollow Knight, you do have to keep in mind that even though you may not be aware of this game, just know it did sell 15 million copies as of August 2025, and with 12 million of those sales occurring in the 6 years that followed, as far as the announcement for Silksong in 2019. And as far as it being one of the most successful independent games ever, that is the label you should give this franchise, as it is definitely deserved and earned that. So anyways, the reason why people enjoy this is because essentially when you're looking at the combat, the progression abilities, the charms, a lot of people are enjoying the 2D Metroidvania plus the Souls-like element, because of course you're using the nail, which is a sword-like melee in 4 different directions. There's a soul meter as far as focusing on casting spells with vengeful or spirit, and then you have your advance as far as the nail arts, which is cyclone slash and pogo attacks. And then the progression abilities, you can unlock new areas. The abilities unlock new areas like Mothwing Cloak, Dash, Mantis Claw, Wall Jump, Monarch Wings, Double Jump, and then the Crystal Heart Super Dash. So safe to say there's a lot of mobility in this video game. And as you can see right now, Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify, we're currently playing Gaming Boat's 15 things you need to know. So they're basically showing a lot of the different gameplay as far as Silksong, so you can see it for yourself on Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify. But anyways, with that being said, the world is non-linear exploration, 150 plus enemies, and 47 base bosses plus DLC. And we're not talking about Silksong. I'm just talking about the original franchise, and then we're going to get into Silksong. So as far as the DLCs included, we have the Hidden Dreams DLC, the Grim Troop, Lifeblood, Godmaster, and then it added bosses like Nightmare King Grim, and then quests like Godseeker. Nightmare King Grim, and then Quest, Godseeker Mode, and then Charms. So a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, how long is this game going to take me to beat? Because whenever you hear Souls like, you just know that they're about to push you through you know what.
Shepard, just look at the state of gaming. Like, what is going on?
I know everybody is talking about how Souls-like is happening every other week, but I feel like that's not true, because as far as very solid Souls-like games, there's not many that comes around, because there's a lot of attention to detail that you need for these particular games. Now, a lot of developers think they could just make Elden Ring in a year, right? A lot of developers be like, oh, what's so hard? Just make the boss more difficult. Be like, no, my brother, that's just not how it goes.
You guys, see, that's the problem.
So anyways, as far as the main story, it will take you a whopping 25 hours to complete. That's if you skip all the side content, right? The main story plus side content will take you around 35 to 55 hours. And then, of course, when it comes to 100% completion, it will take you at least 50 plus hours. So when it comes to a lot of people being completionists and wanting to have every single achievement in this game, I do believe that at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind that it's all based on your skill level. No matter how good or bad you think you are at a game, you should lessen or add time depending on that, because if you're bad at a game, it may take you a little longer than the average 25 hours to just run through the game. But if you're really good at it, then I would assume that the average play time is probably around the amount of time you're going to spend on it, because everybody knows whenever you get stuck on a boss, that individual boss fight is basically dependent on your skill level as far as how much time it's going to take you. So every single Souls-like game can have different run times for different skill levels, but you already know that. So anyways, as far as Silksong, getting back into Silksong, while a lot of people are clamoring for this specific addition to the game, and let alone it being one of the most anticipated sequels, it's also, we already talked about the delays, right? I even talked about it being initially announced in 2019, and then here we are in the big 2025. So with that being said, September 4th is when it comes out. It's a day one on the Xbox Game Pass. I keep telling y'all, when it comes to the Xbox Game Pass, it's one of the most lucrative and cost-effective ways to be a gamer in today's economy. Xbox Game Pass And this is not even like no promo, anything. I'm just trying to save y'all some dollars. You know what I mean? When it comes to revenue, if you just want to spend it on multiple games, safe to say that Xbox Game Pass is the best route as far as playing a lot of games for way less than the price than if you would have paid for those individual games as far as the full $70. So, anyways, actually, let me see Xbox Game Pass 2025 prices. Let's just look this up right now, right? Because sometimes I get the I give an estimate, but I forget the exact price. So the Game Pass Core is $10 a month. Game Pass Ultimate, which is full access on console and PC, day one releases, online multiplayer, etc. Right? EA Play, cloud gaming. That's $19.99 a month. And then PC Game Pass, which is PC library access plus EA Play, is $11.99. So when you look at that and you think of a particular game and how much it would charge you for one AAA video game as far as $70, the Game Pass is there's not even words I could use to describe how much bang for your buck you are getting as far as a max $19.99 month subscription. So, well, $19.99 a month subscription. So y'all get the point, right? So with that being said, that is Silksong. That's my Hollow Knight deep dive. So when Silksong comes out, just expect it to blow up on the charts because a lot of people are really been waiting for this game for a minute. And it's safe to say that Team Cherry, even though they delayed the game, as you can see right now, the game is looking solid, and ultimately it probably would keep Hollow Knight fans and captivated for some years to come. So that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Hollow Knight, Silksong? What do you think about the franchise as a whole? And if you're a huge Hollow Knight fan, will you be playing Silksong when it comes out September 4th?